Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jess the Glam Pixie, and today I'm going to be cutting my bangs. You heard right, I'm cutting my bangs. And instead of going to the salon and paying out the butt for it, I'm just going to do it at home. I'm going to go ahead and go for a straight across the forehead with a lot of texture and maybe a little bit of a jagged edge to it. I want very wispy, soft looking bangs. I don't really want the typical Betty bang anymore. I think I've just kind of done that too much, so I'm trying something new today. So the first thing I do is part my section. I don't want to go too thick, so I think I'm going to go maybe that far back. Does that look too thick? I think that'll be good. So if you can see, that's probably the farthest back that I want to go. And I'm just going to section out. So I think I'm going to kind of go into a U shape instead of a V. And I'm going to start pulling some of this hair back out of my face. Got a little bit of a section right there that shouldn't be there, I don't think. So I'm just cleaning up my part here, making sure that my lines are really straight. And now that I think I have the back section, I'm going to go ahead and check with the symmetry. So this bang ends at about the curve of that eyebrow, and so does that. I think that looks even. I don't know, we'll try. Now that I have my bangs separated from where I'm going to cut, I'm going to go ahead and take my flat iron and flatten everything forward so that everything's laying flat onto my head as much as possible. I use the Remington Wet to Straight. I've had this thing for years and years and years. It is still kicking. It's my favorite flat iron that I've ever owned. So starting from the back layer, I just flat iron it forward. Now that I look like an emo kid from 2006, I'm going to go ahead and take my goodie scissors that I picked up from Walmart, and I'm going to cut a straight across line, probably to start with, right below my eyebrow, because I don't want them to pull too short. You're always better going longer and taking some off, rather than immediately going in way too short. So if you can see, I'm right on the bridge of my nose, pulling it tight, and I'm just going to snip all the way across. There it is. No going back now, huh, buddy? Okay, so now that I've cut that line across, you can see it's obviously not totally straight, but that's okay. This is when I go in and kind of even out my line a little bit. Okay, so now that I have the general length that I want, I'm going to go back in with my comb, take the top layer out of the mix. I'm going to pin that back. To get a pin for that, hold on. Now with these guys down here, I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to cut a fairly sharp angle across, kind of making it almost a zigzag. This is intimidating and scary if you've never cut bangs, but usually it turns out good. We'll hope. You can see I've cut kind of a zigzag all across my bangs. Now I'm going to take the other layer, pull it down, but this time I'm going to go the opposite direction. So if you can see, that has created a more textured end and not so much of like a blunt straight across cut. So when you add pomade and stuff like that, it'll just lay in a more interesting way. So now I'm gonna texturize. So the problem with this, I lost my thinning shears, which is usually what I go in to do this with. So this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to remove that top layer again and pin it back. And I'm gonna try to texturize these bangs without using my thinning shears, which we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna take a little bit and I'm just really, really lightly going to pull it down. You may be thinking to yourself, that doesn't look good for her hair. That looks like it hurts. You are right on all accounts. But desperate times call for desperate measures. So I gotta do what I gotta do. So I'm just taking this. I'm not really clamping down on my scissors like this. I'm just kind of vibrating and pushing it down the hair shaft. Then I'm gonna take my top layer again. And I'm pretty much gonna do the same thing, but I'm not gonna go as high this time. I'm just gonna keep it to the very, very edge of the hair. That chunk looks a little thick. So I'm gonna go in a little bit heavier. So this is when I start to kind of really shape them and figure out, like, if I pick up a strand and it looks really blunt and thick, then I'm gonna go in there a little bit heavier with that thinning process. Just to try and texturize it a little bit. And I'm just gonna go down the line and figure out what sections feel good and texturized and what sections feel a little bit blunt and heavy. Now that I've texturized the front, I'm gonna go ahead and lift this section up, and I'm gonna texturize the back just a little bit, so going the opposite direction in the same process. So now that's it for the cutting process. Now I get to style. So, first thing I'm gonna do is style it forward, the way I would usually do it. So I'm gonna take that top layer, pull it back, then take my bottom layer and just really slightly curl under. Not going for a deep curl here, just a teeny tiny bit. And now the top layer, same thing. And done. So this is how I would typically wear my hair. It is pretty much forward, slightly curled under. It's similar to a Betty Bang, but it just has a little bit more texturization and just a little softer looking. Another way that you could style this is by taking your flat iron and going under and just a little bit to one side, and then taking some pomade or Pixie Play, some sort of texturizing cream, and just curling it over. And that gives you just a more soft baby bang type look. I'm super happy with how they turned out. They're very easy and you don't even have to leave the house. If you guys like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below so that we can chit chat. And I'll see you next Sunday at noon Eastern time. Bye guys.